Welcome to the very first episode of Mark Speaks. I'm Mark, and this isn't your ordinary channel. This is the only channel that dares to speak truth to the establishment. Today, the final historic session of the resigning Prime Minister in the House of Commons. After months of chaos, a betrayal of trust, and a disastrous foreign policy, the man is leaving. Before he goes, though, he's left us with some unforgettable moments. We're going to watch an MP telling the Prime Minister books will be written about how the Mayor of Manchester outmanoeuvred you. Richard Tice from Reform UK exposing the Blackout scandal the government is trying to hide. And a fierce debate on national security and the government's soft-touch approach to terrorism. I'm Mark, and I'm here to back the opposition, to expose government nonsense, and to say the things no one else dares to say in Westminster. If you believe Britain deserves better than this failing government, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and share this clip with every angry Brit just like you. Because they don't want you to hear the truth, but I'm going to say it anyway. Let's get into it.
We start in Scotland. SNP MP Dave Doogan asks a government minister a question. A simple question. But the answer reveals everything.
Any good friends. Does she believe that the Prime Minister-elect is one of those good friends, and won't it be awkward on the subject of young Scots when that Secretary of State's job is taken by another young Scot in the shape of the member for Rutherglen?
Look at that. The MP asks with biting sarcasm, is the new Prime Minister from Manchester a friend of the Secretary of State for Scotland? Of course not. And what's more, the minister's own job is going to go to the MP for Rutherglen, who is a protégé of the plotter. The government is in absolute chaos and doesn't even know who's responsible for what. But the minister, instead of answering, attacks the SNP.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it's absolutely no surprise to me that a representative of the Scottish National Party doesn't want to talk about their own record on young people, because shamefully, youth worklessness is much more intense across Scotland, his constituency and mine, than it is elsewhere in the UK, because the SNP Scottish Government has simply not invested in young people's futures.
Scene 2. The resigning Prime Minister at his final Prime Minister's questions. Liberal Democrat MP Ed Davey starts off with a joke, that bizarre Toy Story reference, then suddenly shifts to serious talk. Watch how he praises a Prime Minister who leaves behind total chaos. Clip Ed Davey tribute.
When it comes to Britain's national debt, the Right Honourable Member for Makefield's plan is to infinity and beyond.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I first, so it's a very, he's clearly angling to go on Strictly Come Dancing, and no doubt he'd be very good at it. And I've some good news for him, because he is, fittingly, the Right Honourable Member for Chessington World of Adventures. And I'm supposed, and he talks about the economy, I'm pleased to tell him that thanks to our summer savings, his family can save nearly £20 when they visit this summer.
Sir Ed Davey.
Mr. Speaker, can I invite the Prime Minister...
Hang on a minute. Ed Davey, who spent years fighting this man, now stands up to call him a true patriot. That's not sportsmanship. That's an admission that the Prime Minister was better than what his own government deserved. But, and this is the crucial part, his government itself was a disaster. Taxes went up, bills went up, the borders became a...
...me at Chessington World Adventures, and we haven't always agreed across the floor, but can I pay my own tribute?
Yes, you have.
I've disagreed with them on Europe, and I've disagreed with you on Europe. So shall I say to the Prime Minister that although we've not always agreed, I've always admired the way he has led his party. I've always admired the way he's been a true patriot. And I always admire the way he's worked with so many people across this House to do the best for the national interest. And we thank him for his public service. And Mr. Speaker, one of the Prime Minister's qualities that people most underestimate comes from his experience as a carer. He's spoken powerfully about looking after his mother through her battle with Still's disease. and the love and care he gave to his brother Nick. And I know the Prime Minister agrees that we can and must do more for family carers. So as he leaves number 10, will he join with me and other carers across this House to speak up for family carers, to be their voice, and to get them the support they deserve?
Yes, and can I thank him for everything he's done in relation to...
Now, this clip deserves a pause. An opposition MP delivers the heaviest blow to the Prime Minister in his farewell session. Listen.
Able to help. In fact, I remember when I started this job, the Prime Minister was very helpful to me, saying that I wouldn't last the year. Life comes at you fast. He spent a long time laughing that I'd lost control of my party. I think he should have been paying attention to his backbenchers instead of mine. But everyone in politics would do well to remember how quickly political fortunes can change. I know that he has been asked and he's being diplomatic, but on that note, does he have any advice for his successor?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I will give my wholehearted support.
This is the defining clip. Books will be written about how a mayor of Manchester outmanoeuvred a Prime Minister with a 170-seat majority and took the keys to Downing Street. 170 seats. The biggest majority in modern history. And yet, the man is gone. Because he didn't have a plan. Because he spent 2 years fighting, not Britain's enemies, but his own political opponents. Because he abandoned every single election promise. There's a lesson here for any politician. Voters forget promises, but they never forget betrayal.
To my successor, I want this Labour government to be a success. I want our country to be a success. I shall give my support privately if asked for, not publicly when not asked for. But, Mr. Speaker, I also, if I may, wanted to draw attention to Pooja, who's with us in the gallery today with her daughter. I first met Pooja in a cafe at the back of Euston Station, and she told me about her son Ronan, who was murdered when he was 16, having just done his GCSEs. I have to say, as a father of 2 teenagers, I found that very hard to hear. His killer, who was also a teenager, collected a ninja sword and a machete from his local post office. He bought them online using a parent's credit card, a fake name with no ID checks. And when I heard that, I said to Pooja that I would campaign with her to get the law changed and make a commitment and a promise to her. And that's why we passed Ronan's Law, driven by Pooja's inspirational campaigning. And today I'd just like the opportunity to thank her for that.
Kemi Badenoch.
Mr. Speaker, that is a lovely statement that the Prime Minister has just made to Pooja.
And now, the most powerful clip of the episode. Richard Tice from Reform UK challenges the Energy Minister over the NESO scandal. Whistleblowers are calling politicians terrified of impending blackouts. Watch how Tice hits hard. In July 2026, whistleblowers at the
Control room operators at the National Energy System Operator have the life or death job of balancing our electricity supply and demand. If they don't get it right, we will have blackouts, and in blackouts, people die. It is that serious, which makes what I'm about to say all the more extraordinary. I've been approached by multiple whistleblowers within our grid operator. The allegations are that first on the 23rd of June, the operator failed to meet the grid security standards put in place to prevent blackouts.
National Energy System Operator revealed that the grid was operating blind during the severe heatwave. Independent investigators were appointed. The government cut the export interconnector cable without prior notice to guarantee supplies, an extremely rare emergency measure reflecting the true...
And all those who were involved in Operation Mighty Oak, it was an incredibly important exercise. I wasn't aware of it at all until I came into this job and read the full report, but also the breakdown of all the actions that had been started under his time in office and continued by officials now. It's a really important exercise, and he's right, the cascading impacts of a national power outage are extraordinary and very quick. And that's why we are, first of all, investing in the grid to make sure that that remains a very low risk on the National Risk Register, but secondly, taking forward...
Ain't that lovely? The minister tells the MP to be careful with his language. Instead of answering the questions, can we guarantee no blackouts? Do you trust the chief executive? He attacks the MP's wording. In Britain in 2026, a minister cannot guarantee that the lights in your home will stay on this coming summer. Taxes are rising, bills are rising, and the electrical grid is on the brink of collapse. And their only solution is watch your language?
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's right that these measures have been brought forward and the opposition will support them. The powers Parliament created through the National Security Act exist for precisely this purpose. They're there to respond to hostile state activity and those who threaten our national security. It's right that they are now being used. That said, we've consistently argued that these powers should have been deployed sooner, particularly against the IRGC. We made the case repeatedly because the threat was...
You ought to be afraid of their language, ladies and gentlemen, because the public is finally waking up. The final segment of the evening. A debate in the House of Commons on prescribing the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organisation. But listeners are pushing an awkward question. Where is the plan? And who...
I do thank him for giving way. I mean, he does say that he wished the government acted sooner. Did the act not just get royal assent a week or two ago? I think our ministers acted very quickly indeed.
Yeah. We put in place powers that assist in this. The first duty of any government is to keep the public safe, regardless of which party is in office. We introduced the National Security Act. The Minister and I have had many debates on this subject, actually pushing...
This is a question that puts the Foreign Office on the spot. Elected councillors on local authorities from various parties openly supporting terrorist groups, spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric, burning effigies, and the minister? Evading. Where is the plan? Who is responsible? It's a simple question, but the answer is difficult, because there is no plan, because the government is too busy fighting internal scores instead of protecting the country. 14 years in prison. A tough sentence. On paper. But the real question is, will it apply to council leaders who back terrorism if they belong to the Labour Party? Or is the law applies without fear or favour just empty words for the Hansard record? Who knows? Maybe the government needs a second whistleblower, like the one at NESO, to tell them there's a problem. But since whistleblowers are calling politicians rather than ministers, I reckon the answer's pretty clear. And so, in the resigning Prime Minister's final session, he leaves behind a clear legacy. A government incapable of keeping the lights on in our homes. A Foreign Office that hasn't a clue who is in charge of national security. And a Prime Minister who left more questions than answers. Yet the opposition is here. The MPs you saw today, Dave Doogan, Ed Davey, Richard Tice, these are the voices of reason in a parliament that has lost its compass. I'm Nark. This was episode 1. If you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell, drop a comment, tell me, who was the strongest today? Don't forget to share this clip with an angry British friend just like you. We'll see you in the next one. Mark, out.